In this video, we're breaking down 3 major mistakes that people can make when they retire before age 59 and how you may be able to avoid them. If you've ever worried about running out of money, picking the wrong retirement strategy, or getting crushed with taxes, you might be shocked to learn that one of these mistakes alone could quietly drain thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, from your retirement savings without you even realizing it. But here's what most people don't realize. It's not about how much you've saved. It's about knowing how to turn those savings into reliable income that's going to last you 30 or maybe even 40 years. In fact, some people with over $1 million still end up going back to work, not because they didn't save enough, but because they just made one of these 3 mistakes. A 2022 survey by Natixis Investment Managers revealed that 35% of millionaires believe it will take a miracle to achieve a secure retirement. Despite having over $1 million in investable assets, more than 58% acknowledge they would need to work longer than they anticipated. A lot of people spend years building their retirement savings, but they never stop to think about how they'll use that money. And that's mistake number 1. Retiring without a clear withdrawal strategy. I mean, think about it. Your paycheck has stopped, but the expenses keep coming. And without a system in place to draw income from, you're left making emotional decisions. And this time with lifelong consequences. That's why you need a good withdrawal strategy. Retirement is like a cross-country road trip. You've packed your bags, saved your money, but now you need a map to reach your destination without running out of gas halfway there. And that map is your withdrawal strategy. It tells you how much to take, when to take it, and where to take it from. But here's the catch with early retirement. You need to have a strong financial base before you start withdrawing, right? And that means 3 things. And the first is you're going to have to save aggressively upfront. Max out your 401k and your IRA contributions if you can. And once you hit the age of 50, use those catch-up contributions. You also might want to automate your savings so that it happens without much effort on your end. The second is to build a bridge account, as I like to call it. Don't just save into retirement accounts, but create a separate pool of money in a brokerage or high yield savings account that you can tap into without triggering penalties before age 59 and a half. And the third is to eliminate high interest rate debt early on, because every dollar that's going to interest is a dollar not going towards your financial freedom. You see, high interest rate debt can quietly delay your retirement for years. Now that you have a strong financial base, it's time to draw income from your accounts, and you've got options. There are several different strategies that you can implement to safely draw income from your retirement accounts, which I did a detailed video on not too long ago, and I'll link it right above me. One of the approaches is the guardrails withdrawal strategy, which is a dynamic approach to drawing income from your retirement accounts that aims to strike a balance between spending confidently and preserving your money for the long term. Instead of sticking to a rigid percentage like the traditional 4% rule that you might be familiar with, the guardrail system sets a target withdrawal rate, often based on your initial retirement needs, and then defines the upper and lower guardrail around your portfolio balance. And this can also be done using a Monte Carlo score as well, which many advisors are a big fan of. Now, if your portfolio grows a lot, the guardrail strategy lets you increase your spending, so you can enjoy more or give more. But if the market drops and your portfolio falls too much, it's a signal to dial back spending to help you stay on track. The biggest benefit of the guardrails method is that it gives you flexibility. You can adjust as needed without making big emotional decisions in the moment. And it helps you enjoy your money when things are going well, but also protects you when the markets are rough, all with a clear rules-based plan. Now, when you're retiring early, you have to make your money last even longer, often without access to pensions or penalty-free withdrawals. Without a retirement strategy, you're not just risking a budgeting error, you're risking your entire retirement timeline. But even with the perfect withdrawal plan, there's still one cost that many early retirees completely overlook, and it can drain your savings faster than anything else. And that's our next mistake. See, you might be retired, but the IRS really doesn't care. They still want their cut if you tap into your retirement accounts too soon. And that's mistake number 2, which is early withdrawal penalties. Imagine this, you left your job, you're excited, you're free, and you're ready to start enjoying life that you worked so hard to build. But within a few months, maybe an unexpected bill hits. It might be a medical bill, maybe it's a big home repair. You don't panic because you have plenty saved in your 401k or your IRA, right? So you tap into it. But then the IRS shows up with their own bill, a 10% penalty for touching your own money too early, plus income tax. So let's say you pulled $50,000 out, right? Now it's only $35,000 in your pocket, and $15,000 was given to the IRS, which is never fun. And this didn't just happen to you alone. The most recent comprehensive data on early withdrawal penalties from retirement accounts indicates that in 2017, the IRS collected approximately $5.7 billion worth in penalties related to early distributions from qualified retirement accounts. To me, that sounds a little excessive. And the worst part is most didn't even realize it was a mistake until it was too late. But here's the good news. There's a smarter way to plan, and it starts before you ever touch your accounts. Think of it like this. You're trying to get money out of a locked vault, which is your retirement account, without setting off alarms for the IRS penalties. Now, to do that, you're going to need three things. And the first is to know exactly how much you're going to need to spend in retirement. This is really your blueprint. Before you even touch a dollar, make sure you get laser focused on your actual retirement lifestyle that you're going to live. Track your current expenses for a month or two, and then you can project forward. What will cost more? Health insurance, travel? What will go away? Maybe commuting costs or workloads? And do you have any big one-time expenses like a big family vacation or a new car that's coming up? See, if you don't plan accordingly, you might find yourself scrambling and reaching into the vault and setting off the alarms. And the second is to build a cash flow plan. Once you know your numbers, create a cash flow plan that fits your new lifestyle. Can you really afford to retire now? How long will your non-retirement savings last? And do you need to cut back or maybe move somewhere cheaper, which obviously has a lot of implications to it. But you get the idea that you want to be asking these questions now before you get to retirement. And now comes the main thing, which is our third point, is how do you get your money out without setting off the alarm to the IRS? Well, the first thing is you want to use your taxable accounts and your taxable savings first. These have no age restrictions like your IRA or your 401k accounts. The second is you can use the rule of 55, which if you leave your job in the year you turn 55 or older, you can start taking money out of that current 401k without paying the 10% early withdrawal penalty. Just remember though, that needs to stay in the employer plan. So don't go rolling it over into an IRA or you lose this option. And speaking of IRAs, the SEP strategy, which is also called the Rule 72T, is one for your IRA. If you're under 59 and a half and you still want access to those funds without penalty, you can, but you have to take equal payments every year based on a formula for at least 5 years or until you turn 59 and a half, whichever is later though. And that's the key. Think of it like turning your IRA into a mini paycheck, but once you start, you can't stop early. These are your silent getaway tools. No IRS sirens and no penalty loss. If you ignore these withdrawal rules, you're not just spending, you're losing hard-earned savings through penalties that really could have been avoidable. And if you avoid penalties, there's one expense that might creep up on you. And that's our mistake number 3, which is underestimating rising costs, especially healthcare. You see, when you retire before age 65, there's a hidden cost that catches so many people off guard, and that's healthcare. Most people assume that Medicare will handle all their medical expenses in retirement, and sometimes it does. But the thing is, Medicare doesn't kick in until you're 65. So if you retire early, say 55 or 59, you could be facing 5 to 10 years of no coverage. And during that gap, you'll likely need to buy private insurance, which can cost thousands each year and oftentimes can be double the cost of Medicare. Add in out-of-pocket costs, co-pays, and surprise medical bills, and suddenly healthcare becomes one of the largest expenses in your early years of retirement. In fact, according to a Fidelity 2023 retirement study, the average retired couple can expect to spend over $315,000 on healthcare throughout their retirement. And that number doesn't even include long-term care. So what do you think went wrong? It's assuming that healthcare is just work itself out, or thinking it's something that you'll deal with later, because later becomes now very quickly when you retire early and you no longer have employer coverage. So your solution? Well, build a healthcare bridge before Medicare kicks in. Just like you plan for your income withdrawals, like we talked about earlier, you need a plan for covering your healthcare costs until you hit age 65 and even beyond. So here's how you do that. The first step is to research your options early. Explore private health insurance through the ACA marketplace. Plans vary by state and income, and if your income drops in retirement, you may actually qualify for subsidies that dramatically reduce your monthly premium, which will be great. But here's where it gets interesting, right? If you withdraw too much from your retirement accounts, you may accidentally bump your income too high and lose those subsidies, which could cost you thousands in unnecessary premiums. So healthcare and withdrawal planning really need to go hand in hand. Now, the second step is to use an HSA or health savings account if you have one. If you have access to an HSA, use it to its fullest. It's the most tax advantage account available. You see, contributions are pre-tax, growth is tax-free, and withdrawals are tax-free if they're used for qualified medical expenses. Think of your HSA like your secret healthcare war chest, especially valuable during those early pre-Medicare years. And the third step is the budget for more than just premiums. Most retirees budget for the monthly premium, but they forget the true costs of care. Your real healthcare budget should include premiums, deductibles, co-pays and prescriptions, vision costs, dental and hearing, which Medicare doesn't often cover fully, and any other pre-existing or ongoing conditions that you're going to need regular treatment for. Building a realistic line item in your retirement budget for healthcare could save you from scrambling, or worse, skipping the care that you need. And our fourth point, which might sound counterintuitive, but is to consider a part-time job with benefits. Now, I get it. You're saying this entire video has been about retiring early, and now you're telling me to go back to work. And I would say that I would only use this option if, one, it makes sense, and two, it's work on your terms that you enjoy and you enjoy going to and looking forward to, even if it's part-time, because even part-time work with a company that offers benefits could significantly help you bridge that healthcare gap until you turn 65. Some large retailers, hospitals, and even school districts offer part-time work with the coverage. But regardless, healthcare isn't optional, and it doesn't wait until you turn 65. In early retirement, your health is your wealth, and failing to plan for medical costs could quietly derail everything you've worked so hard for. Without a strategy, you could be forced to withdraw from retirement accounts early and trigger those penalties, rack up debt, or delay necessary medical treatments because of the cost. In the big picture, not planning for healthcare could turn your entire retirement into a slow financial leak. So if you have no withdrawal plan, you might overspend and put yourself in a position to run out of money early. Use a clear strategy like guardrails or the bucketing system to help you with that. Maybe you tap the wrong account too soon, you might owe thousands in penalties. So use your taxable savings first, or tactics like the rule of 55. Did you ignore healthcare costs? They could blindside your budget before Medicare. So plan ahead with private insurance and account for proper budgeting of the increased expenses. With the right plan, you won't just retire early, but you'll stay retired on your terms. And that's really peace of mind. That's the real goal. I hope today's video was super helpful. If you made it this far, I ask that you subscribe because we have videos that come out every week and I think they're super helpful. So we appreciate you watching, and as always, great days ahead.